this compares to everything else you've been talking about. But I wanted to talk about, well, my partner just left, but basically we're Mac consultants in Atlanta, have been for ages. So never really did anything with the phone end of things, but always thought I wanted to see some more integration. I just wanted to go really quickly through some of the things that we experience in our and what we've been doing for years and why we came to the point where we started working with VoiceRoot on their Druid product. So we've been doing Mac since actually I've been doing Mac since 1989. I started with everything and decided to, I guess I was in the graphic arts market, so that is heavily Mac and has special needs compared to everybody else. Since, like I said, the late 80s, we've been dealing with gigantic files. So we're always trying to find ways to get the network to go as fast as possible. And they wanted new ways to communicate and get more details out of people back and forth. We dealt a lot with system stability problems before we had OS 10, of course. And all our customers always wanted to have the newest technology. I don't know if you've probably known that about Mac people. They always seem to be willing to invest in things before basically anyone else, because they want the coolest thing. I mean, that seems to be something that they're well known for. And like I said, storage, I think, because the files have never gotten smaller in the Mac market. They've always been vast, and we've just been trying to find innovative ways to deal with that. So, I mean, networking, I think on the Macs was local talk when I started. We switched as soon as it was possibly out and went to fast Ethernet, and, and everybody needs gigabit as soon as it came out. If something else came, they would probably go to that. Usually, the Mac departments, a lot of times there's only one in a network that I find even today yet that's gigabit switched. Usually, everything else is still using 10100. I don't know if you guys have that situation or not. But one of the things that after we started to get things stable for customers, they wanted to have more communication between departments. So we were focusing in around 1996 on the concept of digital asset management, where we had so many images by then, which everybody has it now. But I mean, probably we had larger archives before anybody else. We decided that would be an opportunity to creatively connect all the departments together, because they needed to get files that had been used on a previous job, and so we wanted the CSR department to be able to look up the previous jobs, create new digital job jackets that then could flow the job through the department, keep track of time that was spent on this type of work that would go directly into the accounting system. That was, and really the technology was a little bit ahead of the game then, so it was kind of I wouldn't say it was the most successful, but everybody was interested in the idea. I was flying around the country in Canada because everybody was just wanting to get into that game. That was right before the .com bomb, so that was the end of that. But so after that, I became real interested in open source, and we found that our customers really needed CMS systems. I'm sure you're familiar with those, and we were looking at Sugar CRM as a CRM system for the back end, and actually found a new digital asset management system called ResourceSpace, which is open source, which is really exciting because then we can tie these things together. I've found really easy working with these different companies that represent these products and talk about, well, how can you integrate, so that we can have a real seamless flow of information between all these systems so that they have much higher level of control. And that's been working great for us. And the one area where we didn't have it yet would be in voice. Actually, voice and fax, I should say. So I was really looking for a few years, I was really wanting to see something that would give me more control over voice and fax. And that's really when I met the VoiceRoot guys. I guess I skipped a slide here. The other things that we've been focusing on recently is that because our customers became so, the use of the internet became so vital to everything that they did for email and for FTP and for web, that we've been trying to find ways to optimize uptime, because they panic if it's down even for a second. So we've been, everybody wants to have dual WAN connections and the highest level of stability we can. In Atlanta, we've been working with a company called CBeyond. I don't know if they're not everywhere, but they're in several markets and around the country. And they've been giving a really excellent T1 product that has been doing voice over IP since about 2001. Of course, that's using just the standard TDM phone system, and then they're just sending the information out voice over IP. But that's really helped because our clients have, before that, they were always stuck with a fractional T1 because part of it's dedicated to voice, and then you've got whatever the pittance that's left is for their data, and then they really can't get anything done. Because we're talking about files that are hundreds of megs in size that they need to transfer on a daily basis. So I'm sorry about that. I don't know why it's doing that. So that takes me to when I started working with the VoiceRoot guys. I looked at Asterisk, started it like a year ago, because people were asking for something that would work this way. And I couldn't really find anything that had the feature set I needed, but I also, I don't have the experience in the voice arena, so I needed a lot of, I needed to get the expertise from the people that I'd be working with, and I wanted it to integrate very tightly with everything else that I was already working with, such as Sugar CRM and all the email, everything that we were going to be depending on. And our industry really uses fax crazily yet. I know everybody would love to fax not to exist anymore, but there's certain industries that just seem to, stick with it. Obviously law still loves it, and medical, I think, it's big there. But graphic arts is another thing. That's how they sign off their proofs constantly. So a lot of our customers just demand as much control over getting faxes to, directly to the desk that they need to, instead of just one fax machine or several fax machines. They want, they want it to be as integrated with their email box as possible, and that's exactly what we were able to give them with VoiceRoot. The other thing that Mac people demand of me is it has to look good. They just don't like it if it's not really easy to use and has an excellent interface. If it's anything short of that, then I can't get past that, at all. That's just the end of the story, unless it's going to be something that that looks like it's state of the art and attractive and that makes sense intuitively. They don't want to have to spend a lot of time learning it. They want it to just like, oh, this is just an obvious progression of what they're already doing, and that's what I found working with VoiceRoot, because the Druid interface, I've been able to teach people in every time less than a half hour. And sometimes half the people aren't there, and yet they're able to. There's almost no questions that come back as far as to how do you do these features. I'll come back a few days later and check on things, and they're already using all the advanced features. They're doing their own mobile bridging. They're doing all their call routing. They've got faxes going in and out. That I didn't even know I told some of these people, because we were in such a hurry that day, how to get the faxes, but they found that, and immediately latched onto it. Tell me right away when they have the tests are done. This is great. This is fantastic. So that's been excellent for us. So we've been nothing but great there. The fact that Druid VoiceRoot has been interested in, with their SOAP API, so that we can extend it, I think is the biggest thing that people want to hear about, because Sugar CRM is really interesting, but it's going to go beyond that as far as what people want to integrate it with. Everybody wants to have a system that we can tie into the custom things that they have already in their, for their business, whatever their critical solutions they've already invested in. They would like to have as much flow of information as possible. They don't like to go to 5 different places. They'd like it to be as integrated as possible, so that there's one, and I'll tell you, the enabler that we really get out of it is that there's a lot of our customers that say they don't have time to use, they want something like a CRM system, but they don't have a minute to spare. If they have to put everything into it, that's not going to work. So when we can tell them that basically with the integration that Druid UCS has with its iDesk, where as the phone comes in, it's going to just do it all for you. It's going to log this right into the CRM system that this call is taking place and how long it went, and give them a pop-up, so all they have to really say is write a few notes down. That changes it to something where